I personally think that the one most important thing that every man needs is the unbreakable mentality. To stand on the battlefield when everyone is losing. Your army is losing. When there's no hope at all. To stand with your sword on that battlefield and not give up. After watching this video, you will have pretty much everything you have to build your own unbreakable mentality. I will show you why you probably don't have the unbreakable mentality yet, because every other YouTuber, they tells you the exact same things, and guess what, it does not work. Why? Because they pretty much missing the point. So don't be a stupid dumbass. Don't go to... You've already scrolled to the comments, don't you? Don't you? You've already scrolled to the comments. That's what I'm talking about. Bro, you don't even watch this video on full screen mode, don't you? You scroll to the You are on doing something on the other screen, don't you? Or, you know, checking your texts on Messenger or WhatsApp. Bro, you want to have an unbreakable mentality, and what you are doing? You can't even watch a couple minutes of a YouTube video. Bro. So I personally have some kind of experience in discomfort. I am a scout who lived a total of months in the forest. I had no plushy pillows, I had no, you know, computer, I had no mobile phone, I had no internet, I had no home. Everything I had was some food and a tarp over my head. So, bro, I remember one camp. It was raining every single day. Everyone was wet. Yes, everything was wet. I remember I had a sweater and it was wet, so I wanted to, you know, dry this sweater. So, and it dried on the last day of that camp. 3 weeks later, it dried. I put it on and it was wet again because it was raining. So I was close to burst into tears because I couldn't handle the uncomfortable anymore. And I want you to imagine one thing right now. Imagine that I would be this guy. I would still be this guy. Imagine me sitting in a forest and crying because the weather is bad. Crying because, oh, my sweater is wet. Would I be a person that would achieve anything in his life? Yes or no? Answer this question. Would I be the person that would achieve anything in his life if I would cry because it's raining? Of course not. Of course not. And now I want you to imagine something else. Imagine that you are a man who is just unbreakable. Imagine that people hate you and you are still standing still. Imagine that people bully you and you are still standing still. Imagine that people beat you and you don't give up. Imagine that everything around you collapse and you are still standing. Imagine that the bully from your school, this person you hate, this dumbass you hate, imagine him seeing you right now, standing even though everything is collapsing around you. Imagine the fear in his eyes when you are doing this. That's what it means to be an unbreakable man. So I have a humility to tell you that I'm not that stoic, I'm not that unbreakable as I could be. But I think that's a good thing. Right now in this scenario, that I'm gonna teach something new. Because actually I believe that I being more relatable to you instead of, you know, these monks from Shao Dao shitty mountain, I actually can provide you a better help, better understanding than, you know, these monks. When I was a kid, I thought that I don't need these monks. Why it's windy? But I don't need these monks, I don't need this ancient knowledge. But I did. And I do to now. I still need them. Everyone, everyone who's who said to you anything about unbreakable mentality, everyone is lying to you. Because what they want you to build your unbreakable mentality on things that are not static, on your accomplishments, for example. Okay, it's nice that you've beat your I don't know, depression or anxiety, or that you built an amazing body, but what if you failed? Oh, but 2 years ago I beat the depression, I beat anxiety, I built an amazing body, but what if you ate a ton of shit, or you was on car accident, for example, you broke your both legs, both arms, you couldn't train? Would you be motivated by the fact that you've done something 2 years ago, but now you look like bag of potatoes? Of course not. Like, probably not. It's hard to be motivated on things that were in past. You have to set up your unbreakable mentality on something static, on something that never changes. And that is God and philosophy. That is the truth. Because truth never changes. I was probably like you. I was completely like you. Seriously, God, like, yes, God is okay, but real life is harder. Like, there are some other things. Bro, I was completely like you. I wasn't maybe atheist, but I think that I wasn't taking faith that seriously. And faith is essential point in self-improvement. Faith is essential point in your life. And that's a good ego check for me. That's a good check if you are an egoist. If you are still watching this video, I'm proud of you. If you don't think that people who meditate in years on God, on truth, on God and on good and evil, on purpose of life, if you don't think that these people are cringe, that means that you are not egoistic. Because these people spend most of their lives trying to unshackle the potential of human nature, the potential of human soul, to find answers to questions that probably you are asking. I was that kind of egoist myself, but then I just started to listen to those people. The wise man learns to the day he dies. So if you want to be a wise man, you just have to learn and have to have humility that you can learn from anyone, that every single person is someone who you can learn something from. I remember when I had extremely hard crisis in my relationship with my girl, and I really I felt depressed. I felt like I stopped meditating, I stopped doing my self-improvement habits, I stopped working as hard as I could, I stopped training as hard as I could, just because I felt this kind of depression, because I was scared. I was scared. And the only one thing, not including my friends, which helped me to get through this thing, this hard crisis, was my faith in God and philosophy. Was that was this thought that He is with me, He will comfort me, and that everything will be okay because He's with me. And guess what? Now everything is okay. My life is probably at the best point from the day I was born. And I'm grateful for just for that. That my relationship is now okay. I don't have any problems. That my work is okay. That I have pretty much everything I want. And that was because I survived these hard times. Without him, I would probably lose all the hope. I remember when I was reading Joshua and God said to me, "Be strong and very courageous. Be careful to obey all the law my servant Moses gave you. Do not turn from it to the right or to the left, that you may be successful wherever you go. Keep this book of the law always on your lips. Meditate on it day and night, so that you may be careful to do everything written in it. Then you will be prosperous and successful. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord, your God, will be with you wherever you go." With him and with the stoic philosophy, I am ready for any battle in front of me. I'm ready to do anything, to do impossible, to move the mountains. I did not believe that this is possible. Now I know that everything that impossible is it just that does not exist. That anything is possible for a man who believes. So what I want you to do today, if you want to build that unbreakable mentality, there's a link in the description. It's a link for my reading list with every single book I've read about philosophy, about God, about meditation, about all of this spiritual or philosophical stuff. You can these are good books. These are books that I've read. These are books that I strongly suggest you to read, because they are life-changing. So read these books, but don't read them, just scrolling through. Read and think about the text that it is in that books. Sit there and meditate on that text. And after that, after a couple of months living that kind of life, you don't have to be a monk. You don't have to be just make it part of your life. Make it part of your normal life. Read that books. Maybe find a friendly priest with who you could just talk about faith. Who could, take you to church, to this beautiful experience. Go and confess your sins. Let him heal you. Do your best and leave the rest to God.